So good morning. Here we are in beautiful Bali, just about to start another practice. We have Marcel, who's going to be demonstrating all the positions today, and I'm just going to sit down and just watch and just command and talk. No, we're not. We're going to do a yoga class. So we're going to start off on our knees.
Yeah.
So come down on your yoga mat, sit back on your knees. Got a few little clicks and cricks going on. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did actually.
Was it you or me?
No.
It's just me. Okay, so we want our feet trying to go straight back. I know it's difficult, but we have this habit of bringing our toes in, but just makes it a little bit more challenging if we can have our feet going backwards. And we're just going to take a big, deep breath in through the nose and let it all go out of your mouth. Whatever you're holding on to, whatever you're thinking, whatever your processes emotionally, mentally going through, just let it all go. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, one more time. And out through the mouth. Basket weave the hands together and push the hands away from your body. And as we inhale through the nose, we're going to be lifting the hands up. So very slowly inhale. And exhale. Inhale, come up. Exhale through the nose too. So it's almost like a cat-cow. So as we lift up, we're arching the middle part of our back. Extending the hands upwards, exhaling, bringing the hands down, curling everything under. Inhale, hands come up. Exhaling, curling everything back down under. And this time, inhale, bringing the hands all the way up to the top. Now exhale, separate the hands, pulling the elbows out to the sides, lifting the elbows up to the sky, trying to get this elevation as if our elbows are attached to balloons and they're raising up. Another inhale. Exhale, take the hands down. Clasp them again in front of you, push away from you as we inhale. Exhale, separate the hands, elbows rising up to the clouds, if there are clouds. There's clouds here in Bali. I don't think there's any clouds in England at the moment. And bring the hands back down. Push your hands away. Last time of these, inhale. Separate the hands, lift up the elbows, and take the hands down to the side. We're going to take the hand over to the right side, lifting the left hand up to the sky. We're just going to have a gentle stretch down the fascia of our left side of our body. Another inhale here. Really breathe into that left side and take the left hand down over to the other side. Lifting the right hand up to the sky. Maybe follow it with your gaze as you take your right hand up and over. Inhaling into the right side. And exhale, bringing the hand back down. This time take the right hand slightly behind you and lift the left hand up. Exhaling, take the left hand back and round diagonally, the corner of your mat and lifting the right arm up. Sweep the hands round, almost like a vertical windmill. Right hand down, and this time lift the hips up a little bit. Just creating a little bit of movement in the spine. Bring the left hand round diagonally to the yoga mat, lifting the right hand up. Lifting the pelvis up off the heels. And come back into center. We're going to go on all fours and carry on with these cat-cows. So curl the toes under. And we're going to exhale and curl everything under. Inhale into our cow, exaggerating the movement a little bit. Maybe even having a little of a wiggle, left and right with shoulders and hips. Exhaling, curling everything back under. Inhaling, coming back up. Exhaling. Drop the toes back down. Sink the butt back down to the heels. Now take your hands either side of your knees. Spread out the fingers and take a big deep breath in here. As we exhale, we're going to push down on the mat, lifting the knees up off the ground. And we're here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lift the left foot up now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Left foot down, right foot up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the foot, drop the knees. Give your hands a little shake. We're going to come down back onto all fours, but using the back of our wrists. Make a fist together as the fists join each other. Getting the elbows nice and low so the back of the hands are also on the mat. As we inhale, lift up, stretching the wrists and the back of the forearms. Exhaling, coming back down. Inhale. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhale. Now take the hands, reverse the hands so the fingertips are facing towards your knees. Inhale here. And as we exhale, lean backwards. Nice stretch on the forearms. Inhale, come forward. Exhaling, taking the hips back. Inhale. Exhaling, hips go back just so that you can feel the stretch. Can you feel the stretch? Turn the hands down, facing downwards, fingertips facing forwards. Curl over the toes and into downward dog. First time of the day. Bending the knees, making sure we've got a straight back. And take a big deep breath in here. And as we inhale, we're going to articulate each vertebrae as we come forward into plank. Peering over the tip of the edge of the mat. Bending the knees and back into downward dog. Another one of these. So as we inhale, try and ripple the spine as we come forward into plank, bending the knees, back into downward dog. One more time, rolling all the way through the spine, peering over the edge and back into downward dog. Let's lift the right leg up to the sky. We're going to take the right foot to the outside of the right hand. Drop the left knee, lifting the right hand up to the sky. And we're here for 5 breaths. Maybe just see what happens if you twist your hand facing the other way, so the hand's facing either way. Twist it all the way around. Maybe you can feel some tension in the forearms or in the shoulders as we rotate. It's just an awareness that we can see what's happening with our right side arm. Take the right hand down to the mat, push the mat away and into our extended pyramid. Lift up all the toes while we're in this position, and then try and spread all the toes separately out with spaces in between. Big inhale, exhale. Try and lengthen the right leg so the right leg becomes a little bit straighter than it was previously. Last breath here. Rebend into the right leg as we take the left foot to the outside of the left hand and coming up into our active squat. There's a rumour that says that yogis can't jump, but if we do plenty of these, we'll be able to jump as high as anybody. More flexibility creates less spring, so this just adds a bit more spring back into the muscles. Here for 10 breaths. Try and create a little bit more space in the scapula, the back, curling your shoulders round, your elbows slightly out, your hands facing forwards, as if you're carrying a big bowl in front of you. And exhale, push the mat away, hands to the heart. Inhale, hands up to the sky. Take a moment here, take the hands out to the side into our victorious position. Have ancestral born neuropeptides that are released when we spread the fingers out and our arms are in a V shape, telling the battleground that we are victorious. Big inhale here. As we exhale, take the hands down to the mat. Inhale here. And take the right foot to the back of the mat, left foot back of the mat, and back into downward dog. Left leg up to the sky. Take the left foot to the outside of the left hand, drop the right knee, lift the left hand up to the sky. Again, play around with a little bit of rotation. So if I rotate this way around, as if my little pinky is facing towards my head, I can feel it right down to the shoulder girdle. And then if we rotate it back the other way, it's actually on the top of my shoulder. It's just interesting to be a little bit more aware of tightnesses, if any. Take the left hand down to the mat, push the mat away into our extended pyramid. Again, let's lift up all the toes. Try and place each toe down separately, a little bit of space in between. extending through that left leg, trying to get the left leg as straight as we can. That's good. Rebend the left knee, take the right foot to the outside of the right hand and back into our active squat. Picking up that heavy bowl in front of us. Elbows are slightly splayed. Shoulders and the shoulder blades have a bit more space in. Last breath here. As we exhale, push the mat away, hands to the heart. Inhale, hands up to the sky. Back into our victorious pose, spreading out the fingers, just like a giant tree. Big inhale. Exhale. Take the hands down to the mat. Inhale here. Left foot to the back of the mat, right foot to the back of the mat, and full press up. Our first vinyasa, so drop the knees, take the hips back, roll all the way through into upward dog, and have a moment here. First up dog of the day. See how it's feeling at this moment. Have you got a little bit more space? Is it tight? Can you feel it? More space than yesterday. Okay, back over the toes, curl it down, back into downward dog. Right leg up to the sky. Let's create a little bit of heat. Even though the sun's coming out here, we're taking the left foot to the left hand and coming up into active squat. Push the mat away, hands to the heart. Inhale, hands up to the sky. Exhale, take the hands all the way down to the mat. Inhale here. Right foot goes back, left foot goes back, back into downward dog. Left foot up to the sky. Take the left foot to the outside of the left hand, right foot to the outside of the right hand into active squat. Push the mat away, hands to the heart. Inhale, hands up to the sky. Exhale, hands all the way down. Inhale here. Left foot goes back, right foot goes back. Full press up. Drop the knees, roll through into upward dog. Back into downward dog. Right foot up to the sky. Take the right foot to the outside of the right hand, left foot to the outside of the left hand and into active squat. Push the mat away, hands to the heart. Inhale, hands up to the sky. Exhale, hands all the way down. Inhale here. Take the right foot to the back, left foot to the back, downward dog. Left leg up to the sky. Take the left foot to the outside of the left hand, right foot to the outside of the right hand. Back into our active squat. Push the mat away, hands to the heart. Inhale, hands up to the sky. Exhale, hands all the way down to the mat. Inhale here. Right foot goes back, left foot goes back, downward dog. Left leg up to the sky. Take the left foot in between the two hands, right foot to the outside of the right hand and into our active squat. Push the mat away, hands to the heart. Inhale, hands up to the sky. Exhale, hands all the way down. Inhale here. Left foot goes back, right foot goes back, full press up. Drop the knees, look forward, roll all the way through into upward dog. And back into downward dog. Have a moment here. A few steps. Maybe lift up the left hand and right hand. Left foot and right foot. Right leg up to the sky. Take the right foot in between the two hands. We're going to come up into our double bent knee lunge. Big inhale here. Straighten the left leg. almost like a activation of the left butt cheek as opposed to a straightening of the left leg. Kind of feels the same, but different. Rebend over the right leg. We're going to take the hands to the heart and lean over the right leg into our bent knee warrior. Push the mat away and extending through into a straight leg. One-legged warrior. Take the hands forward as the back foot drops to the back of the mat. Hands to the back of the skull. Inhale, push the space away behind. Let's have a couple of breaths here. Now take the hands down to the mat. Lift the right foot up to the sky. Roll all the way through into upward dog. Back into downward dog. Left leg up to the sky. The left leg taking a step in between the two hands, bringing both hands up to the sky into our double bent knee lunge. Straightening that back leg by tightening that right glute. Bringing the hands to the chest. Inhale, lean over the left leg. Exhale, push the mat away. Now take the hands forward as the back foot drops to the back of the mat. Hands to the back of the skull. Inhale and push the space behind. Now in this pose, what we want to be feeling is this stretching through the abdominals. So even though we're taking our hands back and it feels a bit like a back bend, we're actually trying to create length within the abdominal wall. One more breath here. Taking the hands down to the mat, lifting the left foot up to the sky, and rolling all the way through into upward dog. And back into downward dog. So a little bit faster this time. So right leg up to the sky, taking the right foot in between the two hands into our double bent knee lunge. Activating the left glute as the hands come to the heart and leaning over that right leg. Straighten that right leg. Counter lever as we take the hands forward and the back foot drops to the back of the mat, hands to the back of the skull. Inhale, pushing the space away behind. Hands come down and lift the right foot up to the sky. Looking forward, let's roll through all the way up into upward dog. Back into downward dog. Left leg up to the sky, taking the left foot in between the two hands into our double bent knee lunge. Activating the right glute, hands to the heart, leaning over the left leg. Bent knee warrior. Pushing the mat away, straightening through that left leg, keeping that right leg high as the hands go forward and the back foot drops to the back of the mat, hands to the back of the skull. Inhale, push the space away behind. Exhaling, take the hands down to the floor, lifting the right leg up to the sky. Exhale, roll all the way through into upward dog. And back into downward dog. One more round of these. Right leg up to the sky. Take the right foot in between the two hands into our double bent knee lunge. Straighten the left leg. Hands to the heart. Lean over the right leg. Push the mat away. Straightening that right leg. Making sure that left leg is elevated and straight. Pointing the toes. Taking the hands forward as the back foot drops to the back of the mat. Hands to the back of the skull. Inhale. Push the space away behind. Taking the hands down to the mat, lifting the right foot up to the sky, rolling through into upward dog. Inhale, exhale, back into downward dog. Inhale, right leg up to the sky. Exhale, taking the left foot in between the two hands into our double bent knee lunge. Activating the right glute, hands to the heart, lean over the left leg. Straighten that left leg. Taking the hands forward as the back foot drops to the back of the mat, hands to the back of the skull. Inhale, push the space away behind. Taking the hands down to the mat. Left leg lifts up to the sky. Rolling through into upward dog. Rolling back down into downward dog. 10-step journey, bringing the feet to the hands and hands to the feet, sinking down here, just having a moment, saying a few little nods with your head, a few yeses and a few no's, while we've got our neck in a little bit of traction and extension. Create a bit more space within our neck. Grab hold of the elbows and sink your elbows down as if you're trying to get your elbows down to your feet. Feeling the lengthening between the vertebrae, the lower part of the spine. And have a soft little bend in the left leg and the right leg. And just seeing if you can create a little bit more length. Okay, now drop the hands. And we're going to vertebrae by vertebrae roll the spine up until we come up to standing. Whew. Getting a bit hot here in Bali, isn't it? We came here when it was all cloudy, then we've just had a ton of sun, and now it's gone all a bit cloudy again. And we're probably going to get rained on in a minute, but never mind. Sinking back down. Now choose your side, left side or right side, or straight up and down. Just trying to be a bit aware of tightnesses in the spine. I know if I go over to my right side feels a little bit stiffer than, my left side feels a little bit stiffer than my right side. Do you have any differences? So if I swing this side, I can feel a little bit of stretch on the lower part on my left side. But if I come this side, I feel it a little bit more on this side. But just having a feeling and a see what's going on. It seems to be the first thing that goes as soon as you start getting older. Are we starting to get older, Marcel? It seems to be the first thing that goes is our flexibility. So just going back in and doing these simple movements like these, it's just great, creating a bit more space, trying to find the tightness, trying to make it looser. Okay, have a little swing between the hips. Maybe a figure of eight. Figure eight is one of the hardest things for the brain to compute. We've got a little bit of our head at the back called the cerebellum that deals with movement, pain reception, and it's just quite interesting to give it something that's quite challenging. So if I move my left hip forward as my right hip comes back round and we're doing these figure of eights, it's quite difficult for the brain to process, so more neurons are firing. Okay, sink back down. We're going to bend the knees and we're going to take the right foot to the back of the mat. I'm going to bring my left foot a little bit more forward so I've got a bit more space between the knees. Lifting the left hand up to the sky, and we're going to draw the right knee in. We can stay here. This is a really good position. We could do 5 breaths here. We're going to do a total of 10, so we're going to take 5 here, just drawing the heel into our butt as close as we can, and it gets tough. Now we're going to give it a little bit of help, so we're going to take our hand down and pick up the foot and just draw that foot into, and it seems to activate a different muscle. So if we're drawing it in, it's really harsh on the hamstring. We're drawing that foot in using all our hamstring strength, and then suddenly as soon as we take it, it becomes a front of the thigh stretch. So the agnostic muscles, so every muscle has got an antagonist and an agnostic, so as one flexes, the other one is in strengthening, and while the other one is strengthening, the other one is relaxing. So release the back foot, bring in the hips back, and we're extending the hips into our Ardha Hanuman, the half monkey god pose. So try and get that left leg as straight as you can. It's tough. Curling the toes up towards your face will make it even harder on those little hamstring muscles or big hamstring muscles. And perhaps play around with hand positions. So take the hands both on the inside. Does that change anything? Does it make it a little bit easier? Now take the hands left and right as we were previously. Now let's take both hands over to this side. So it's just the subtlety of a hand movement changes this stretch dramatically. Last couple of breaths here. Marcel was just about to switch back to an easier pose, and then when I said last couple of breaths, he changed his mind, which is good. We're going to rebend into that left knee. Top of the foot pushes down on the mat into our Chandrasana lunge. It is challenging, especially if you've wandered around in high heel shoes. Not lately. So we're going to push the foot down, the top of the foot, the top of the toes, and we can stay here. This is a great position to be in, or bring the hands to the knees, or really activate that right glute and bring your hands up to the sky. We're here for 10 breaths in this glorious sunshine. If you really fire that right glute, really activating it, it becomes a lot easier. But three more breaths. Last breath, make it count. Bring your hands up just for a second, Marcel. Well done. Taking the knee down, back knee down, extending the left foot forward as we come into our version of splits. Now this is our version of splits because neither of us are there yet. But you know what they say? If you're not in it, you don't win it, or something like that. Yeah. You've got to be in it to win it. So sinking down into this position, again, we've got our toes curling up towards our face, feeling the lengthening of the hamstrings. Again, we can have a look at hand positions in this. So take both hands on the inside. Maybe take the right hand off the mat. Just giving yourself a little bit more space might allow you to straighten that left leg a little bit more. Now, one of the things that I've been playing with, which is quite interesting, in a pose like this, in yoga and Ayurvedic medicine, they all talk about our hips are the holder of our emotions. So just think about things that have happened in our life and just see whether bringing those to our attention make this a little bit of an easier position to get into. You know, just think about relationships, thinking about past experiences. You may find something that just gives you that extra little bit of give, that extra bit of space. Now rebend into the left foot. Might be a bit tricky to get from, but we're now going to go into half moon. So pushing down on the left. Now I find it very difficult. I do do it, but I find it very difficult to straighten the left leg. I had an injury a few years ago, and it seems to fire right into the spot that was damaged. So, but spreading the toes, lifting the toes up and just pushing them down into extra space, trying to make a fan with those little digits, straightening the leg. We're working on our proprioception. Humans are born with one fear, and that fear is the fear of falling and hitting our heads. And that's exactly what we're challenging now, our proprioception, our vestibular system, all firing, all sending messages all over the place, trying to stop our head from falling. And now bring the right foot to the side of the left foot, back into our circle chair. And does that circle chair feel a bit easier? Have we opened something and created a bit more ease, a little bit more length? What do you reckon? It's easier. So if I go over on my left side, I can still feel a little bit, but it really isn't half as tight as it was before. If I go over the right side, there doesn't seem to be any of that tension. But left side, still a little bit. So let's do it all again, but on the other side, and let's see what happens. Sinking down, let's take the left foot to the back of the mat this time, dropping the left knee, lifting the heel off the ground, drawing it into our butt. We're going to draw it in as much as we can for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now pick up that foot, and we're going to draw that foot into our butt. Just keep drawing it in if you want to. It's harder. So again, it's changing this from an active hamstring to a lengthening thigh. A couple more breaths here. And release the foot, but let it slowly drop back down to the mat. You know, coming out of these positions is just as important as getting into these positions. So we can do things with intention and less haste. It helps. It's basically like if you take an elastic band and you're pulling it and let it go, it'll just spring straight back into that same position. But what we're doing is extending it, and then we're slowly bringing it back into that position. It's got less of that bounce, and that's what we want to try and avoid, is that bounce. So back into everybody's favourite, Chandrasana. Oh, we haven't done that. We haven't done Ardha Hanuman. Into our second favourite pose is Ardha Hanuman. So leaning the hips back, extending through on the right leg, trying to keep this long and lengthy. Again, at the moment, we've got our hands on each side, lifting the toes up, curling the toes up to the face, seems to make it more activated. I can actually feel a little bit on the front of my foot as well. Yeah. Mine's here. Okay, we're now going to take the hands both on the left-hand side. Now back to either side. Now what if we take both of our legs, both of our hands over to the right? Not both of our legs, that would be a bit tricky, but both of our hands over to the outer edge. Lift up the toes a little bit more. Last breath here. Okay, rebend into the right knee. Top of the foot pushing down on the mat into our Chandrasana. So pushing the foot, top of the foot down onto the mat. This is a great pose. You know, it's one of these poses that very rarely used in yoga sequences, but gives you so much benefit. Again, we're working on the antagonist muscle and the agonist muscle. So at the moment, we're activating the hamstrings. So in this position, we're really firing, really lengthening, strengthening that position. But then when we go into our splits, we're actually trying to lengthen it. So we're going, it's almost like, you know, have you ever been to had a massage and they've done this PNF stretching where they tell you to push against you, so that what they're doing is creating that muscle being strengthened, well the opposite muscle being strengthened, and then they say right now let it go, and they push it a little bit further. We're doing the same but in a yoga pose. Last couple of breaths, bring the hands up and release, taking the hands down, dropping the right knee, extending the right heel forward, bringing the left knee back. Now this side I can get a little bit deeper into my splits than I can on the other side. And we've all got one side that's a bit easier than the other. Curling the toes adds a little bit more activation. This time I want you to think about the things that you love, the things that you care about, the things that you cherish. Things that you enjoy. Does that give you a bit more space? A little bit more length. Okay, in whichever way you want to, come out of this pose. Rebending the right knee and coming up into our half moon. Straightening that right leg. It's a lot easier for me on this side than on the other side, but try and point the left foot. Again, if you put your hands around your calves, you can see these, feel these tiny little muscles making these minute little adjustments, sending signals down to your foot to strengthen and loosen and weaken and get stronger. And bringing the left foot back down, either side back into our circle chair. Whew, bit of freedom. It's certainly hot here, isn't it? Okay, take a few steps back into the centre of the mat, keeping your feet pretty wide, a little bit further than hip distance, and we're going to go up on tiptoe. Raising up on our tiptoes, almost like we're wearing our high shoes again. And we're going to slowly come down to squat. So I like my hands to come down in the center. It keeps me a bit more stabilized. And when we're in our squat position on our tiptoes, we're going to drop our heels. We're now going to lift our heels. We're going to slowly drop our knees. Bring the hands up together into our soft camel. Not too strong. This is the first one. First back bend of the day. Now coming back, lifting our knees, dropping our heels, lifting our heels, slowly dropping our knees. And this is tricky as it is, just trying to get your knees to drop as slowly as you can. But if we can just create a little bit of slowness, steadiness. Marcel, take your feet a little bit wider. I think you'll find it easy to get your heels down. Lifting the hands up. Maybe go a little bit further in your camel. Lifting the knees, dropping the heels, lifting the heels, dropping our knees. Back into soft camel number 3. Oh. Lifting the knees, dropping our heels, this time sinking the arms forward as we create our little shelf for our knees to fall onto the shelf. Take a big deep breath in and exhale, take your weight forward into our crow. If you want to, spring your back, full press up, back into downward dog. Right leg up to the sky. Take the right foot in between the two legs into our warrior 2. Again, often in a yoga practice we fly through this pose. But what if we just take a few moments just to see what the pose is about? Sinking a bit deeper. Focusing on the arches of both feet. Making sure the right knee is over the right foot. Extending the left hand back and the right hand forward. Dropping the shoulders down. Drishti at the middle finger. So Drishti is our focus. And in the 80s, scientists discovered that if you added a gaze position while you're in a movement position, it fires so many more neurons. So this becomes spatial summation. As opposed to summation when we're just in a yoga pose or a position or a movement pattern. And then we add a gaze position, becomes spatial summation. Yogis have been doing it for thousands of years, but 1986 it was discovered, which is quite amazing. That the yogis were doing it way before. Okay, last breath here. Make it count. Big inhale. As we're going to take the left hand down to the mat and lift the right foot up, and we're going to bring it into our side plank. Now we can be in side plank, we can be in supported side plank if we want to drop our left knee down. We can also come into wild thing, which is quite a nice opportunity to get into this kind of pretty much unexplored pose. I wasn't introduced to it during Ashtanga or Bikram, but side plank is also a great spot. Marcel's holding it really well. 2 more breaths. Bend the knees. Bring the right foot up to the chest and bring it up to the front of the mat. Roll over the left foot, taking the right hand over the right foot, lifting the left hand up, and take the left hand up and over as if your bicep is on your ear. And we're here for 5 breaths. Now lift the right hand up, pushing both hands forwards. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Push the mat away, reversing our warrior as we take our right hand up. Again, we can add drishti to the middle finger, the right hand. And we can do this pose with either bent right knee or straight right knee. Initially, this to me always feels a bit like a rest pose, and then all of a sudden it actually, wow, it is quite active. So and just be aware. So if I activate my left leg, I can feel some more tension on the inner of my left thigh. If you start tensing the left butt cheek, does it change anything in you? It does a little bit in me. Just gives a little bit more of a rotation within the hip girdle. So now wimble the hands down into our Trikonasana. So right hand comes down. You know, for years I went straight down to here and pushing up here, but just try and bring the hand a little bit higher, even if you've been doing this pose for a long, long time. Creating a bit of force on that back of the right hand as we open up the heart and the chest, extending the left hand up to the sky. Straightening that right knee as much as we can. Left leg is also straight. Again, think of the arches. Lift up all the toes. Bring the toes back down and expanding the toes, creating a little bit more of a stable position for our feet to be in. Last breath here, make it count. Big inhale. And exhale. Taking the hands down. Now we're going to have a go at a arm balance. So we're going to bring our hands. You know, for quite a while I was taking my hands far forward and it was making it a lot more difficult for me to get into the arm balance. But if you take your hands kind of, I've got maybe an inch behind the back of my heel and my hands are facing forward. I've got my fingers nicely spread out. We're actually gripping the mat, and I'm going to now take a deep breath in. As we exhale, lift the right foot up to the sky. Big inhale here. Now as we exhale, bring the right foot to the outside, a little bit behind the hand. So we've got a little bit of space, and we want to be able to have enough space just to drop our inner thigh onto our tricep. So you're in a good position. So now, in this position, drop the elbow, draw the inner thigh in, and now just carry on taking the weight forward. And Marcel's in it for the very first time. Woo! Well done, mister. High five. That's fantastic.
That's good.
Yeah?
I think I was going to do that.
So again, it's about shifting weight. It's not so much about strength. It's about just getting your weight going forward and being dry. And also being recorded helps. So, back, just give your hips a little wiggle. You know, these are arm balances, although it's about weight distribution. A little bit of the time, we're also really working in a very, very deep stretch on that inner groin. So just be aware that your back is okay. Have a little bit of a circle. Curling over the toes, back into downward dog. Left leg up to the sky. We forgot we had the other side to do. Take that left foot right through in between the two hands into our warrior two. Sinking down. Take the hands. We're not in Trikonasana. We're in warrior two. We've got the whole lot to do. You were just jumping straight through into your, hopefully, trying to put me off again. Okay, sink a little bit deeper. Remember the arches of both feet, the back foot and the left foot, the knee being over the top of the front left foot, extending backwards, extending forwards, sinking deeper. Maybe just go a little bit deeper. Three more breaths. Now take the right hand down to the mat. Lift again. My right hand is just behind my foot. In the past, I've gone more forward, but I found it difficult lifting my left foot. But if I take my hand a little bit further back, so it's kind of on par with my heel. So now lift up the left foot. We're coming into our side plank again. Again, we can do supported side plank, or wild thing, or good old side plank. Bit shaky on the side. Okay, rebend or bend the left knee, draw it into your chest as we take it forward and drop it down as gently as we can. Take the left hand, extend it over the left foot, lifting the right arm up and over, bicep to your ear as we extend overhead for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now lift the left hand up, both biceps sticking to ears. 5, 4, 3, 2, 2.5. And 1. Push the mat away into almost rest. Reversing our warrior. My right hand is just comfortably sitting on the little pit of in between my two butt cheeks, just the base of my spine. Right hand is lifting, left hand is lifting up and over. We want to just create some length along the left side of our body. Now windmill the hands down, getting into Trikonasana. Left hand pushing down in between the ankle and the knee. Right hand pushing upwards, drishti at your right thumb. Trying to open up the chest, opening the heart chakra, ready to give and receive love. I found a connection now between these little extenders called telomeres that attach with DNA, that if we love ourselves and appreciate ourselves, these telomeres multiply. Telomeres, they multiply, and these, as we grow older, our DNA shortens, but these telomeres become these little extenders to the DNA, so more of the original blueprint of us can be recreated. So big smile and gratitude is really important to help these telomeres. So now if you want to try the arm balance, bring the hands down. Again, we're going to take it short. So my hands are probably half a handprint away. Spread out the fingers so the fingers are wide. Lift the left foot up to the sky. Now again, bring the left foot diagonally off the mat. And we can drop the right knee too, just while we have a go at this pose. We're going to sink our, really bend into our arms. So the more we bend into the arms, the nearer the shelf is really for our knee to drop on. And start taking your weight forward so that you can comfortably find your shelf for your inner thigh. Nearly. We're going to have one more go while we're here. So the downward dog needs to be short. I'd take the foot a little bit further out and now start bending your elbows and shifting your weight forward. That's it. So you've got a perfect shelf now. You're a bit sweaty.
It's sliding.
Maybe we should have a go when it's not so hot. Or do you want one more with a big wipe down? Let's get the towel. Let's do it. Come on, come on. Okay, and knee. There we go. Okay, so let's do it together. So a very, very short downward dog. Bring the left foot, drop the right knee. And just make sure that your knee can fit on your tricep. Yep, perfect. So take the hips right back and then let's roll through as if we're doing an upward dog. So we're rolling through, taking our weight forward, maybe even take a little step with that foot to bring more of you forward. Perfect.
Thanks for the wipe down, that helps. Yeah, actually practice.
Well, that's what we're going to be doing this week. Watch this space. So, now we're coming onto all fours. Do some more rotations with our hips. Maybe 3 circles one direction, 3 circles the other direction. And sink our hips down. Take our hands to the corners of the mat. So they're really probably a hand and a half span distance away from the mat. Put the forehead on the mat. Pressing down on our forehead actually activates our extensor muscles. And that's basically what we're going to be using now. So press down on the mat first of all. And as we take a big deep breath in, as we exhale, lift. And just find a little bit of space in the spine and bring back down. Exhale. Inhale, push the head onto the mat. One more inhale and lift. As we inhale and lift, just feel as if you're trying to get that breath into each vertebrae. Got 33 vertebrae in the spine. Just try and feel each one from the sacrum all the way up the lumbar. And come back down again. One more of these. So push down onto the mat. Inhale and lift up. And feel each vertebrae one by one. So we breathe into each vertebrae of the spine and come back down again. Take the hands back, lift the left foot and the right foot, We're going to grab hold of the left foot and grab hold of the right foot. Head on the mat and inhale here. As we exhale, push your feet into your hands and lift up your knees, your thighs, your chest, your belly, your abdominals. Just want that pivot of your hips on the mat. And come back down. One more of these. Reposition your hands. Big inhale. As we exhale, push your hands into your feet and lift. Chest. Try and get your belly button off this time. Try and get the top of your thighs off this time. And come back down. Okay, sink back onto our hips. Headstand?
Sorry?
Headstand?
Try.
Do you want to go up against a wall, or do you want me to be there? Okay. So, I'm going to go into headstand. So, I've asked lots of yogis when I was learning to do headstand how much weight is on the head, and nobody really gave me a straight answer, and it was really infuriating. Because I just couldn't imagine putting any weight on top of your head, and really we want to be in a position that we can slide a piece of paper at any point in time underneath your head. So there's so little weight on there that you can just ting. It's more of it's the non-supporting side of the tripod. And Patrick Beach, in his headstand class, he was saying that if you can just slide a piece of paper underneath your head at any point in time, and that made perfect sense to me, because whenever I've done headstand, I've had far more of the weight and the support in my arms and my shoulders and my back than my head, and so I finally found out that I was doing it right all along. But it's quite nice to have confirmation of somebody who knows all these things. And I haven't done it for a while, but I'm going to go this way because I don't want to fall on those stones. So,
I'll stand behind you though, just in case.
in fact, I'm just going to move those. That wasn't so tricky. Okay, so find your tripod position, so your hands go to each elbow, and stay in this position until your elbows are down on the mat. Then bring the hands to the front and clasp the hands. Your head is going to fit into this little well that you've made for your head to go into. So the top of my head is pushing into that, and my elbows are strongly on the mat. And I'm going to walk my toes up, lift my left foot, so there's no kicking, no jumping, just using your abdominals to just keep walking your toes, step by step, lift one, then lift the other. It took me a couple of attempts to lift my other foot, but majority, 95% of all the weight is in my shoulders and not on my head. Okay? Whew. Should we move yours? Pile of rocks. Goodbye, incense.
It's still burning, so it's fine.
Okay, so find your tripod. And I think this is a great way to find your tripod because you're finding your space. I'd also sink your hips back. Yeah? That's it. Now you want to extend your hands forward, clasping your hands together. Okay. Now take your hips high. That's it. And keep stepping, walking, remembering not to put too much weight on your head, even at this point. Okay? Now I'm just going to just place a hand here so you know that you're no jumping. Just keep walking. If you can't lift, you're not far forward enough. So really put, Marcel, stop one sec. Really push your head into your hands. So that well is part of your support, part of the frame that's going to hold you up and stop you going over too far. So keep walking your toes, keep walking on your tiptoes. No kicking, walk, walk. So make the well. Really push your head, lock it into there. You're also a bit slimy because of the sweat. So just be careful you don't slip out. Just keep walking, you tiptoeing, tiptoeing, tiptoeing more, more, more. That's it. You almost got that. You almost got to that point. It's like a tipping point. You're literally
Feel like you're going that way.
just there to be able to just elevate your hips.
I did it last week.
Well, we've got plenty of time.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, we're going to come back into the middle of the mat. And after those headstands, we're going to drop our head down. We're going to just let our bodies become ragdolls. A few circles with the head in one direction. A few circles in the other direction. Some yeses, some nos. You know, even though we're not putting weight on our head, it's still a weight that we don't normally have. So always just need to be careful. And afterwards, I think this is really good. Just a bit of traction on the neck and the spine, just to bring it down. Okay, we're now going to take our left foot forward. All right?
Yep.
And we're going to take our right foot, so they are facing each other. So I'm going to just do a quick spin. So our left foot is out, our right foot is out. We're bringing our hands to our hearts and we're sinking down. Now the idea is that you could get a cup of water and just leave a cup on each thigh and see how long you can keep those cups there, but I'm not quite at the cup holding stage yet. I'm just going to sink down. This is I actually think this is harder for men than it is for women, purely because of the lack of movement that we have within our pelvis. You know, for childbirth, women need to have a bit more movement and a bit more flexibility. So it's not being sexist, hope, no. But we're just sinking down a little bit deeper. And we're going to come back up and shake off the feet. Now we're going to take the left foot out, right foot out. Big inhale, take the hands out to the side. Exhale, the hands to the hips. Inhale, head up. Exhale, take the head down to the mat. Now take the hands down to the mat and take an inhale and lift the head up. Exhale, take the head down. And in this position, what I want you to feel on an exhale is drawing the belly button in. So take a big deep breath in. Lift the head up. Exhale. Now draw the belly button in on the exhale. It's just being aware of the space that we have in our abdominal cavity when we fully draw in that belly button. Now take the two fingers and we're going to hook those around each of the big toes. Bend the knees so we've got a full proper sumo wide-legged squat. And we're going to inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to straighten the legs. Okay, we're now coming down into a Chandrasana. Not Chandrasana, we're going to go into... I forgot what it is. Okay, I've forgotten the name, but never mind. We're going to sink down on our left side. We're going to sweep over and drop down onto the other side, lifting the left foot up, switching it back, pushing down, lifting the right foot up. It's almost like a ski position. If you've done skiing, you can imagine having your ski sticks and pushing down, twisting the right leg up. Skandasana. That's what we're in. Mental block. Comes with age. Spin the legs around. And back into stance, taking both of our feet to the front of the mat. Taking the feet wide. We're now going to come down into our yogi squat. Okay. Now, I really like these. It's the circle wheel. I don't do them enough, but I like. And I think they're so good for the back. So, we're going to just have a little rock left and right, because this is the motion that we're going to be using for us. Where are you feeling it? In your back?
In my lower back, in my leg.
Well, just be careful.
So I'm just going to stretch out.
Yeah. You do whatever you feel you need to do. So I'm going to sink down, and we're just going to have a little sway here. And I'm going to take my right hand down and lift the left hand up and spin round, and the right hips up. And we're going to take our windmill hands round, spin the left hand round, taking the right hand forward, spin it round, and we're just going to see how far we can go. It's a nice momentum you kind of get. You just be careful, you. And then when we're ready, sink the hips down. Now, keep the knees up, drop the heels, take your hands on the top of your thighs and push your thighs away. Take a big deep breath in. As we exhale, push. And you just feel some traction in the lower spine. And release. Take the hands up. Big inhale. And exhale. Okay, now draw the left knee in. Take the left knee over to the right side. Keep your right leg straight. That's it. Got a nice rotation going on in the lower part of the spine. We've actually done a lot of work today.
It's been quite challenging. Good though, really good.
I think it's because you're being filmed. You've always been a bit of a poser, haven't you, really? Draw the left knee in, take the left knee down, draw the right knee in. Give yourself a little hug, find a little bit of more space. Draw the right knee into your chest as we take it over to our left side, right hand extending over to the right side. Our gaze is also at the right side and also in full sun now. So we've done all our hard work for today.
I think so. Just the beach of ping pong now, that's it.
Yep,
That we're
ping
done.
pong now. Just take some long deep breaths here. Okay, take the feet to the corners of the mat, hands lifting upwards towards the sky. Close our eyes. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Calming your nervous system. Lowering your heart rate. Now bring one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly. And feel the beating of your heart. And your left hand on your second brain. You've got 500 million neurons in your gut, and we have gut instinct. It's that feeling we get. We should trust it a bit more because there's Enough neurons there for it to make sense. Hands back out to the sides, pointing up to the sky. Just let your body become heavy and relaxed. When you're ready, roll onto your side. Take a moment and then come up to seated. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So far,
Yeah, no, we've got a few of those around.